Welcome back, dear friends, to the Crimson Academy's course on the World Order of Baha'u'llah. In this next letter, dear friends, entitled The Golden Age of the Cause of Baha'u'llah. In this 17-page message, addressed to the friends in the United States and Canada, the beloved guardian Shoghi Effendi begins by lauding the propelling force of the faith of God, which has 10 years after the passing of the beloved Master, in the face of tremendous obstacles, maintained its unity, resisted the malignant onslaught of its well-wishers, silenced its calumniators, and broadened the basis of its far-flung administration. The letter goes on to pay warm tribute to the community of Baha'is in North America, to their efforts in aiding the progress of the faith and in defense of its interests in the oppressed lands of the East. In order to contrast Baha'u'llah's revelation to other man-created movements, the beloved guardian Shoghi Effendi poses this question for reflection. Where else, if not in the revelation of Baha'u'llah, can the unbiased student of comparative religion cite instances of a claim as stupendous as that which the author of that faith advanced? Foes as relentless as those which he faced, a devotion more sublime than that which he kindled, a life as eventful, as enthralling as that which he led. And dear friends, that was from page 55 of the World Order of Baha'u'llah. The beloved guardian Shoghi Effendi draws a parallel between the early beginnings of past religions and the thrilling episodes which accompanied the birth and rise of the Baha'i faith, and gives a highly illuminating statement establishing the principle of the progressiveness and relativity of religious truth, and the unity and complementarity of all divinely revealed religions. He further categorically states the preeminent character of the Bab's faith, and the fact that he was not only a forerunner to Baha'u'llah, but an independent manifestation of God in his own right. The letter also deals with the importance and implications of the principle of non-interference in political affairs, pointing out that this in no way means that Baha'is are indifferent to the interests of their own country or the concept of sane patriotism. It is clear from this statement that the current circumstances in the world demand that such an attitude of non-involvement in political and party pursuits should be uppermost in the minds of the friends. This, of course, does not entail avoidance of purely administrative positions in government or association with movements that are humanitarian in their pursuits and in harmony with the Baha'i principles. The concluding paragraphs of the letter address the need to carry out a successful conclusion, the great enterprise of completing the Wilmette Temple. Dear friends, we share with you some following extracts from this document. The first extract comes from pages 51 to 52. That the cause associated with the name of Baha'u'llah feeds itself upon those hidden springs of celestial strength which no force of human personality, whatever its glamour, can replace, that its reliance is solely upon that mystic source with which no worldly advantage, be it wealth, fame, or learning, can compare, that it propagates itself by ways mysterious and utterly at variance with the standards accepted by the generality of mankind, will, if not already apparent, become increasingly manifest as it forges ahead towards fresh conquests in its struggle for the spiritual regeneration of mankind. Indeed, how could it, unsupported as it has ever been by the counsels and the resources of the wise, the rich, and the learned in the land of its birth, have succeeded in breaking asunder the shackles that weighed upon it at the hour of its birth, in emerging unscathed from the storms that agitated its infancy, had not its animating breath been quickened by that spirit which is born of God, and on which all success, wherever and however it be sought, must ultimately depend. Dear friends, this extract is from page 54. Not by the material resources which the members of this infant community can now summon to their aid, not by the numerical strength of its present day supporters, nor by any direct tangible benefits its votaries can as yet confer upon the multitude of the needy and disconsolate among their countrymen, should its potentialities be tested or its worth determined. Nowhere but in the purity of its precepts, the sublimity of its standards, the integrity of its laws, the reasonableness of its claims, the comprehensiveness of its scope, the universality of its program, the flexibility of its institutions, the lives of its founders, the heroism of its martyrs, and the transforming power of its influence, should the unprejudiced observer seek to obtain the true criterion that can enable him to fathom its mysteries or to estimate its virtue. And dear friends, our last extract will come from pages 64 to 65. Let them refrain from associating themselves, whether by word or by deed, with the political pursuits of their respective nations, with the policies of their governments, and the schemes and programs of parties and factions. In such controversies they should assign no blame, take no side, further no design, and identify themselves with no system prejudicial to the best interests of that world-wide fellowship which it is their aim to guard and foster. Let them beware lest they allow themselves to become the tools of unscrupulous politicians, or to be entrapped by the treacherous devices of the plotters and the perfidious among their countrymen. Let them so shape their lives and regulate their conduct that no charge of secrecy, of fraud, of bribery, or of intimidation may, however ill founded, be brought against them. Let them rise above all particularism and partisanship, above the vain disputes, the petty calculations, the transient passions that agitate the face and engage the attention of a changing world. It is their duty to strive to distinguish as clearly as they possibly can, and if needed with the aid of their elected representatives, such posts and functions as are either diplomatic or political from those that are purely administrative in character, and which under no circumstances are affected by the changes and chances that political activities and party government in every land must necessarily involve. Let them affirm their unyielding determination to stand firmly and unreservedly for the way of Baha'u'llah, to avoid the entanglements and bickerings inseparable from the pursuits of the politician, and to become worthy agencies of that divine polity which incarnates God's immutable purpose for all men. And again, dear friends, this was from the World Order of Baha'u'llah, pages 64 to 65.